that. And I thought to myself, why do people even have garbage disposals when they have a toilet? Also, the toilet's broken.
Looking good, ladies.
Just ignore them. Don't you hate every time you walk by? Ooh, Sarah?
I dropped my lipstick.
It's a beautiful backyard you got there, lady.
Guys, stop.
Sarah, ew.
Okay, fine. Look, since I've been dating Todd, I've missed being told.
Alright, so this is a clip from Washington Watch, Roland Martin's segment, I guess, where he's talking about the situation that happened with Kamala Harris and Barack Obama. He's got a bunch of feminists on the show. Now, this is after they had a discussion about their communist hero, Angela Davis. They just got done praising her, and I guess he shifted to the conversation on what happened. Basically, the other light-skinned chick with the afro on the other side says that she thinks, you know, it's not an issue. This light-skinned chick next to Zerlina Maxwell shaking her head, and you can just look at the look on her face right now, because she's just like, I wish this chick would shut up. You know, even though they're all leftists, they're all feminists, they're still in disagreement on what happened. And Zerlina, the militant, is trying to tell men how to act, how to think, how to talk. And, you know, it's just hilarious, though, how Roland Martin tends to say things how he wants to say them. But his voice got real high when he can tell that Zerlina got upset, or she shook her head when he said that Kamala was fine, too. It sounded like his balls dropped or something. His voice got real high-pitchy. You know, women like Zerlina make it real difficult to want to be around them, like feminists like that, because they make the environment where, like, you got to be on eggshells. Kind of like Adriana Mitchell's, whatever that dongle chick name is. But, you know, it's a problem. You see the type of chick that you see her get in the elevator, you might have to get off because you might get accused of rape just by looking at her. So, I don't know. But it's just hilarious that, you know, even though they're all leftists and they're all feminists, they still have a disagreement on this issue of what happened with Kamala Harris. And Zerlina standing by her term on, well, he shouldn't have said it because it makes absolutely no sense. The one to the left of her made more sense, even though she's a leftist. She said, yo, there's a lot of issues going on right now in the economy, unemployment, I guess to them, leftists, gun control, immigration, gay marriage, what have you. And to make a big deal out of that scenario was a waste of time and energy. But check it out, it's funny.
Barack Obama at a fundraiser, and he makes this comment, and folks have gone crazy. And that is, he talked about Kamala Harris being Attorney General of California, being the best-looking AG in the country. So folks, oh, he shouldn't have said it. That's sexist. That's wrong. Weigh in.
He shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it because even though he has a close personal relationship with Kamala Harris, he should be focusing on her credentials, her merits, her accomplishments. There's plenty of other things to talk about, particularly in the public space, because women are often judged and valued only for their appearances, or that is a very large portion of what we consider valuable. They're commodified, and I just think he should have focused on her credentials. There's plenty of things to talk about in terms of that. You don't need to talk about the fact that she's
I read the comment, and go ahead. I read the comment, and that wasn't, but he talked about her accomplishments. Go right ahead.
Stick to that. Stick to that.
But I think that frames us in this sort of way that's not human and not natural. Like to add that to one of her many things, I don't feel is. We can't hide from how we look. We can't hide from how also pop culture sees people and comments on them. And to put
in the
beauty
same week
part
when the
of
First Lady talked about the sexiness of our home president.
Yeah, and the thing is and also we have to look at
husband. That's her husband.
But who the president is, the first thing he did was sign an Equal Pay Act for women.
Yes.
So, and no other president has given their wife such agency and equality, and that's really how you can tell. That's the litmus test for how men feel about women, is how they treat their wife.
Right.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's so insignificant, and it's so unfortunate that this is what we're choosing to focus on in a day and age when we do have a jobs crisis, an immigration crisis, a gun control problem. Folks have really made this news. He was in a fundraiser where he was comfortable. He just talked about the host of the fundraiser having an adorable grandchild. He talks about Mike Honda not being the tallest man in the room, and then he goes to Kamala Harris, all of the things that she's done, says that she's the most attractive, and then says, and she's my good friend. Two to qualify the remark. If the First Lady doesn't have a problem with it, she knows how much women have, and all of us know how much women have impacted the way in which he views policy and supports policy and implements policy.
Right.
The first White House Commission on or Council on Women and Girls. I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
I think the flip side is how it made her feel. I know I've been in those situations when someone who isn't a person of authority says something like that. I do think it diminishes power sometimes. When you're trying to assert yourself as a powerful woman, to have your beauty highlighted as something that's important enough to talk about in a public setting sometimes makes you feel that you're not equalized with the men. And it's not a great feeling when you're that woman put in that place.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been in those situations, and I think to Angela's point, when you're in a relaxed setting, when you frankly are among friends, and also when you hear the other comments, whether or not, remember, we saw the whole stuff with Congressman Paul Ryan, and the P90 and the workout stuff along those lines. We've seen those things actually take place, and so, yeah, I think a lot of folks are just taking this thing across the board, and guess what?
I wasn't suggesting that we should go march on Washington over this. I simply said, you know, I wish he hadn't said it, and I hold him to a higher standard because of the things that Angela said, not because I think he's sexist. He's not sexist. He's done wonderful things for women. Like she said, Lilly Ledbetter was the first thing he did. I hold him to a high standard, which is why I want him to focus on accomplishments first and foremost.
He did.
And stick to that.
I got you.
He should have said smart, strong, tough, stop talking.
Well, she's smart, strong, tough, and she is good looking. All right, panel. What? I said it. I sure did. Because you know what? We've had on the show. We already
said smart, strong, tough, stop talking.
Well, she's smart, strong, tough, and she is good looking. All right, panel. What? I said it. I sure did. Because you know what? We've had on the show. We had a great time.
Well, you can tell my parents because they did that, not me.
Okay, well, guess what?
I've done other things.
I got you. But you know what? Guess what? He's saying, guess what? He said, she's great. And like he said, oh, we had a great time.
Well, you can tell my parents because they did that, not me.
Okay, well, guess what?
I've done other things.
I got you. But you know what? Guess what? He's saying, guess what? He said, she's great. And like he said all of that. So, guess what? He gets to say it. If the First Lady says
say that we don't think it's okay.
Absolutely. And then we play Steve Winwood's role.
The hilarious thing in the whole situation is that the same day that this happened, there was supposedly some studies saying that females, politicians don't win because of their attractions or what have you. I think that's silly. It is what it is. Growing up, I understood that, you know, it was an issue for even male politicians if the way a guy sits, the way he looks, the way he carries himself. You know, Bob Abdul versus a Bill Clinton. Hands down, no way Bob was going to win because they said with white voter women, they look at things like that. So for them to flip it and say when a woman's attractive, it hurts her. When a manic a politician is more attractive, it helps him. Among women voters specifically, I guess the mother dudes who bought that life too. I just think it's crazy. Second thing that's to point out is that, you know, she said herself it wasn't an issue. The one chick with the purple said that, well, it makes me feel some type of way. That's good for you, but Kamala Harris said that it didn't bother her, and then she took it as a compliment. The same thing with the senator from New York. When Harry Reid told her she was the hottest woman on Congress, she was asked, did it bother her? Now, their argument, Zerlina's argument, would be valid had those women come out and say, this is an issue, but it's not. But again, this is the way that feminists want to train men and make them be subservient to, you know, whatever offends them. When they choose to have things offend them, you need to walk on eggshells around them. That's the issue I don't like. It was hilarious though how, you know, the light-skinned chicks on the left of Zerlina both were just shaking their head like, no, stop, you're doing too much.
We should go march on Washington over this. I simply said, you know, I wish he hadn't said it, and I hold him to a higher standard because of the things that Angela said, not because I think he's sexist. He's not sexist. He's done wonderful things for women. Like she said, Lilly Ledbetter was the first thing he did. I hold him to a high standard, which is why I want him to focus on accomplishments first and foremost.
He did.
And stick to that.
I got you.
He should have said smart, strong, tough, stop talking.
Well, she's smart, strong, tough, and she is good looking. All right, panel. What? I said it. I sure did. Because you know what? We've had on the show. We had a great time.
Well, you can tell my parents because they did that, not me.
Okay, well, guess what?
I've done other things.
I got you. But you know what? Guess what? He's saying, guess what? He said, she's great, and like he said all of that. So, guess what? He gets to say it. If the First Lady says
we get to say that we don't think it's okay.
Absolutely. And then we...
One thing that was odd too, that Zerlina, when Roland Martin said that Kamala was attractive or whatever, the first thing Zerlina said was, well, tell my parents I did something different. I don't understand how that had anything to do with Roland sorry about another woman. He didn't tell you were attractive. We know you're an ultra-feminist, closeted lesbian, and we know not to compliment you. So why did she bring that up about what her parents did for her when he wasn't talking to her? He was talking with a whole other female, and the female in question said that the comment didn't bother her. That's what happens when these feminists try to speak for other women and everybody else. It would make more sense if you would do things from a personal level and say that's how it made you feel, instead of policing everybody's speech. Because let's be realistic, every female doesn't want to be addressed the same way. We understand that, but you can't say something globally to represent all women when you don't know what they feel or how they think. And that's why the situation looks even worse, because in both situations that happen from Democrat men saying it about other Democrat women, the women in every case said it wasn't an issue. But this is the eggshells that they want you to walk.
Pathetic. Is it really so bad that I want men to think I'm good looking?
Of course not.
I mean, sometimes you just want to be told that you're pretty.
Exactly.
Tell me I'm pretty,
You're
damn it.
pretty, geez.